Hi, I'm Narayan Subramaniam, founder and CEO of Ultraviolette. At Ultraviolette, we're fast-tracking the future of mobility. We're working on electric performance motorcycles to begin with. And our intent is to accelerate innovation across the EV ecosystem. So when it comes to the opportunities within the EV ecosystem, I think we are fundamentally at the right place at the right time. And when I say right time, I mean 2025 and being born and designing out of India. That's a great advantage. And with regard to breakdown of what all is in store for us as a country, the technology and the consumers, I'd like to talk or classify it from a point of view of the formats of transportation, the use cases within transportation, the consumer, and of course the technology angle here. To begin with the formats of transportation, we've got long-haul transportation, urban transportation, and of course special purpose requirements in mobility as well. Now with long-haul transportation, there is the freedom to work with different battery chemistries. Energy density may not be the most critical decision maker, and I think we're seeing lots of tech emerging from across the cars to the truck and spaces that involve long-distance mobility. So while this gets solved with a certain approach of its own, where we are operating in at Ultraviolette is more on the two-wheeler spectrum, right? So two-wheelers typically spans from low-powered scooters to higher performance motorcycles. We've started with high-performance motorcycles because the rationale from our side is once we build very strong foundational tech ground up, it becomes easy for us to scale the tech across the spectrum of mobility. And two, we fundamentally believe that it's time for India to have an aspirational brand that is at the forefront of both design and technology. And that's essentially what's taken us a good 7 years in terms of perfecting every core part of the ecosystem. I'm talking about battery chemistry, controllers, the overall architecture of the vehicles. All of it had to be redone from scratch. It's taken us time and it's put us in a good place to now look at further opportunities. Coming to the consumers, I think we're today looking at a very evolved nature from a consumer perspective. Across the spectrum and lifestyle choices, ownership models are evolving as well. So we've seen various companies talk about battery as a service, owning the entire product end to end. There are other geographies where you use battery as a service predominantly. We've seen this happening in China, we've seen it happen in Taiwan. I think what is happening in India is at the forefront, electrification now has taken deep roots. We are seeing strong penetration in the scooter segments. We are seeing strong consideration in the motorcycle and the four-wheeler segments as well. And once the mass segments get saturated, the growth is tremendous on higher tech and higher performance segments. And that's where we are ideally poised today. And third, what it means for India. India has today opened up a great opportunity when it comes to developing tech, the design, and of course the manufacturing ecosystem across the board with electric vehicles. Now, I'm talking about certain standard manufacturing processes that are quite relevant and will continue to be so. But there's also a lot of new age approach that is required in terms of optimizing tooling, design for manufacture, and of course, as we talk about energy and storage, this is an industry that we are going to see a lot of players from across the world and from within India itself set up base in India to disrupt things from a cell chemistry perspective. And fortunate to be living in these times, the space is moving really fast. So if you're interested in any part of being within the tech, design, energy part of the whole EV revolution that's taking place, you're at the right place and right time. Well, for India to be at the pole position come 2025 in the whole EV ecosystem, from my perspective, there are a couple of areas where I request the bodies driving this along with us to take note. I think one aspect would be access to charging and fast-tracking charging infrastructure for both four-wheelers and two-wheelers alike. And of course, there are different voltage bands and power bands that vehicles operate at. But I think if all of us come together, there is a way in which we could define standards that are, cross-functional across multiple companies and different power levels of vehicles. So access to charging will become a critical piece of the puzzle and disables any form of range anxiety, if I may put it across that way. And two, from a company perspective, or from the perspective of a startup that is actively driving this, pushing this aggressively, one initiative would be the PLI schemes to accommodate the growth phases of startups, to ensure that companies that are doing things for India, out of India, are able to leverage certain benefits from the PLI scheme as well.